Hello and welcome back to Sharing a Chapter a Day. This is Do, Ra, me, and today I will be reading Chapter 96 of Engagement in Peril by Dara Odoe Sup. Chapter 96 is titled Delilah's Deceptions Caught. After a long day of work, slaving and putting up with shit from the various schools he subbed for and saving up to support that contagious horror, habits, and desire of Delilah, it seemed that on the night that Shinshin found out through the internet's website MySpace that he was being two-timed by Delilah, which she advertised pictures of her new lover and her of them making out at various sites and places. He was quite upset and wanted to tell her how much she had crushed and humiliated him then from her deliberate, non-contact attack and show-offs. As seen in his text, he rambled on about her being a user and a liar. Shinton also told me that Delilah even had the audacity to take the same poses that he and she had done previously on their outings together during their 18 months relationship. The picture and poses on the Ferris wheel were in Santa Monica where the new other guy was identical to the picture of Shinchin and Delilah had taken in Paris, France, months earlier on the City of Love Ferris wheel in the middle of town then, next to the famous Louvre Museum. He was really upset and practically pulling out his hair over what he had discovered. He couldn't understand why a girl whom he had adored and trusted and loved dearly would end up doing this to him, especially after he had asked her not to do something like that to him. At that moment, he wanted the world to know what had happened to him. He wanted to rant about his crushed, broken heart. So that night, while Delilah was supposedly in class at the local community college, Shinshin called her home and told her mother everything about their relations. He also messaged some of her friends on MySpace to tell them everything about his and Delilah's relationship and what she had kept from all of them this time, all this time that she and Shinshin had been dating the last 18 months. He was finally coming clean to everyone that she knew and letting them know how and what kind of a person that Delilah was then. Shinshin was going up. Shinshin was up, opening up himself to the world then. Shinshin was trying to his best to rant and let out his frustration and sadness then. Now, Shinshin's honest revelation to her mother and several of her friends about Delilah's deceit and insincerity only got him in deeper shit, and his honest revelations was turned around and he was taken to court and placed on restraining order by the local court's magistrate. Delilah's devious, two-faced mother Lilith, pretending to console Shinshin while they were talking on the phone, she had recorded their entire conversation about her horrid only daughter when he desperately called her that night and several other nights on. She kept Shinshin on the line for almost 2 hours or so that night he called, reminding him that she had warned him before not to get involved with her daughter while they were working together, and that he and her daughter only have been friends because the two of them were more like brothers and sisters instead of having been dating and having sex behind her back. Shinshin, stupidly with his inhabited fallacy, told the bitch of a mother everything about his and Delilah's relation, where he and Delilah had done what he and Delilah had done together, and where they had gone to, all the trips, all the outings they took, the trips across and to the other side of the world, the trips to Japan, Hawaii, Europe, all their outings within the long 18 months relation they had. Shinshin had this to say and told this to Lilith. Lilith, please listen. It's me, Shinshin. I know we haven't spoken since we last worked together during the testing season last fall, but I want to come clean. Those were Shinshin's first words with Delilah's mother when her mother first answered her phone call. I want to let you know that me and your daughter, Delilah, have been involved emotionally, physically, sexually involved for about 18 months now. You know that I always liked your daughter, and I told you that before, but Delilah never wanted you to know about us. She said she would leave me if I ever told you about me and her being intimately involved or even seeing each other behind your back. So I kept our secret from you. I'm sorry, but I want you to know that your daughter isn't really a nice person. Not a nice person at all, Lilith. Shinchin frantically goes on. Your daughter and I have been on many trips together, like Japan, where she told you she went on her own or with a group tour, right? Well, she went with me, and we went on an intrepid group together that winter of 2006 when we all first worked together. And Japan was the first time me and your daughter made love. Well, we had rough sexual intercourse then, but we were really intimate before that also. I have had my fingers and fists up your daughter's genital malformation many a time before that at my apartment. I know about her elongated and access labia, Lilith. Not to leave anything out, Shinchin went and rambled on. I usually fisted your daughter as hard as she wanted it then, and I don't think that I was ever her first sexual partner. She had told me about your dead husband's secrets and what he did to her when she was younger. Shinchin babbled onward without noticing that Lilith was doing what was doing on the other end. He heard clicks and scratches, but he ignored it and kept talking about whatever was on his mind and whatever came to his mind at that very moment. With that notion of her late husband molestation of her baby Delilah, Lilith went numb over the phone and had to catch her breath. Wait a minute, Shinchin, she stated. She told you all that? Delilah, my baby, told you all that, Shinchin? Shinchin quickly replied, Yep, she did. She told me what he did and what you did to him later on when you guys swept it under the rugs of sort. Without taking a breath, Shinchin rambled on. We also went to Hawaii where I paid for about everything where she told you that she went on her own. Finally catching a breath or two, he continued, She was with me the whole time. We went to the Aloha University Stadium flea market to shop for gifts and souvenirs for you and her friends, and we ate out at Todai, and we went swimming at the beaches and ate shrimp barbecue from food trucks along the coast, and went to Palm Sunday together at the nearby religious cathedral there during Easter Sunday worship that morning before we and she returned home to you. Shinchin waited for Lilo to ask, So did you guys have sexual relationship there in Hawaii as well? Shinchin eagerly replied, Absolutely, of course, yes. We had horrendous, sinful sex every day there, sometimes 3 or 4 times a day. Sex on the bed, sex on the floor, sex in the bathroom, and sex in the ocean, and while the car was moving as we drove around the island. Your daughter gave me head while I drove and ejaculated in and all over her mouth and face then. Shinchin, getting downright dirty and straight out nasty, left nothing out as he told Delilah's mother about everything they sexually and sinfully did while they were together late those last 18 months during all their travels and outings together. In return to Shinchin's tenacious, honest revelation, Lilith kept asking Shinchin to repeat himself, unaware to him that she was recording the entire conversation between her and him that night and several times later the following days. Shinchin goes on to telling Lilith more about his involvement with her conniving bitch of a daughter, Delilah. We also went to England and Europe. We stayed with my cousins and family there. Delilah made up the fake hotel and motel itinerary for you to see and kept a copy for herself, so when you called, she has an accurate excuse to tell you where she was. Every time you called, we had one of my cousins pretend to be the hotel attendant and answer your questions and requests at the places she said she stayed at on her behalf. The only place we really stayed away from my relative in Europe was in Paris, France. And that time you called every day, and I kept my mouth shut. And during one or two of your conversation with Delilah then, and while you two were talking on the phone, well, me and your daughter were fucking at the same time while you were talking to Delilah at the other end of the line. Your daughter and I had also made sex tapes of us having rough, sinful sex and tearing each other apart, resembling that of wild animals there in Paris. We pretty much fucked our brains out, Lilith, were the stupid, desperate words of Shinchin with his forthcomings. Stupidly without cautionary thinking, Shinchin went on. Also, Lilith, your daughter had posted herself or her other lover had posted on the internet on a sex website of her masturbating on camera for the whole world to see. It's about a 2 minute video of her mutilating herself. She masturbating with a blue dildo up inside her sloppy, saggy snatch in her bedroom. And you almost caught her doing it, cause she quickly hit the phallus too as she heard someone came by the room. Shinchin continued on telling Lilith everything, and she kept on asking him to repeat himself while she recorded their talks on the other end. Their conversation lasted for several days while While and when Delilah wasn't at home, and after Lilith got it and gathered all she had wanted from Shinshin, Lilith stopped answering Shinshin's phone calls to her to talk things out further. Being depressed and overwhelmed with his tenacity in check, Shinshin was trying to convince Lilith to help him out with getting Delilah back, or for her to realize what she had done to him. What an idiot! Love does that to people, and Shinshin was so stuck on that contagious bitch of a person then. And several weeks later, after their talks and discussions, Shinshin was visited by two sheriff deputies with a court order summoned to appear for a restraining order hearing at the local Los Angeles County Superior Court House in the deceiving city of Cherry Pineapple Grove. The court order accused Shinshin of harassment and unwarranted email and text messages. It really didn't mention anything specific on what Shinshin had done wrong, just accusation that the whore of a bitch Delilah had made in writing. The order simply stated the date, time, and location of where Shinshin should appear for the preliminary hearing, nothing more and nothing less. Confused and scared of what was to happen to him, Shinshin called up the local police department and asked them what the court order was all about. The officer on the other end of the line wasn't sure what Shinshin was getting at, so he suggested that Shinshin come down to the downtown police station to talk to someone about it. Shinshin did as he was instructed and went down to the CPGPD downtown minutes later. After gathering what he thought he needed, he zoomed off in his Honda Civic, going westbound toward the downtown police station on 3rd Street and Magnolia Avenue. Once there, after finding a suitable parking, he entered the 7-story brick glass gray building, going up to the counter, which was protected by several thick plexiglass. Shinshin talked to the first officer he saw behind the counter in a dark navy blue uniform. Shinshin spoke to Officer Mahia and showed him the court order summons and had some question about it for him. The officer verified the court order, and it was only a preliminary court hearing, and that Shinshin shouldn't have too much worry. Just to obey the order to stay away, no contact whatsoever by email, text, or phone call, and just to wait till the court hearing for further instruction. Shinshin was still confused and scared after the officer's explanation, so he showed Officer Mahia the text that he had written and texted Delilah that night. He found out that she had been two-timing him. The officer read over the text message from Shinshin's palm trio, chuckled at a few of them, and mentioned to Shinshin that he should have calmed down first before he had sent out those messages. That seemed that he was angry and frustrated at the time, and he was sending out what he was feeling via the phone. Officer Mejia also mentioned that he had seen this sort of things before. It's really nothing, he stated. And he went on saying, just obey the court order and what the judge says after the hearing. You'll be fine. Just be careful next time you get involved with someone like this. So the officer told Shinshin then. Shinshin shook his head, pretending to seem like he understood everything the officer had said, and stated, which he didn't. He then thanked the officer and walked out of the downtown police station and onto the 3rd Street crosswalk, where the court order summons gripped firmly in his right hand. He walked toward his car, which he parked diagonally from the CPGPD station at the hour parking zone. Then Shinshin drove off toward his apartment after feeling a little bit relieved, but still uneasy from the delivered court order summons. Depressed, and in the back of his mind, he was frustrated and worried what was about what was to become of him. He hasn't been in this sort of trouble before, and he truly thought Delilah was his true love, and he longed to have and met. He questioned why she would do something like this to him, while he drove back to his bleak asylum. Thank you for listening. This is the end of chapter 96. Be on the lookout for chapter 97, titled The Catholic Whore, Delilah, and Shinshin Meets. This is Do, Ra, Me, and see you later. Thank you.